Namaste. So, in the last video, I talked about certain misconceptions people have about Darakaraka because there's so many videos on internet that are floating around, long videos which talk a lot about Darakaraka, and the few that I have seen uh, straight away talk about certain planets being Darakaraka, and they straight away talk about the physical features and looks and the beauty, etc., of the spouse, as well as maybe the personality of the spouse, etc. So that's the way they describe the results of Darakaraka, which I have shown with examples. Um, I gave examples of Prince Charles and his two sons, and there are several more. I have examples to show to you. So, but with them, I showed to you that very clearly that this is not the case. Um, I punctured that theory that this Darakaraka is showing the physical features of the spouse. I mean, the planet itself, let's say Venus as Darakaraka means a very, very beautiful spouse. So then what would Saturn as Darakaraka would be? Please check the chart of Donald Trump. He has had beautiful wives, all of them models or actresses. Three marriages he has had, and his Darakaraka is Saturn. So then what would you say? An old spouse? No, none of them. I mean, all his spouses were younger to him, and the last two marriages they were significantly younger to him. So Melania Trump is, I believe, like 25 or 24 years younger to him. So you can't really judge by that, and I can give you several more examples. I have seen a lot of charts and I've examined them, and I don't see any correlation towards that. Um, However, I felt that before sharing all those things, better to understand what exactly it is. I said what it is not, the negative part of it, what it is not. But it also makes sense to say the positive aspect and sense what is the Darakaraka, what is it going to show, and why are we examining it. And part of the problem is, when you see these videos, they start straight away with Darakaraka. At best, they define it, that it is the planet with the lowest degree in Rashi amongst all the planets of your chart. That is just the technical definition of it. But what does it mean? Why do we have something called Darakaraka? What is Dara? What is Karaka? You have to go in the depth of it. I also told you that this is a topic which is taught in very advanced level. Whenever you study in a parampara, it is taught at a very, very advanced level. We were taught it in the 4th or 5th year of our foundational course on Brihat Parashara Horashastra. Okay, so I thought it's better to give some grounding, some theory. But I can't give you in depth because this is something, as I said, very advanced level topic, and you have so much before that which has been explained to us. So it's very tough to talk about that, but yet I will try to give you an essence, something you will have with you, and you will not get swayed by these kind of I mean, maybe a bit harsh, but it is true that it is a bit of internet gimmick that is happening around. Okay, so I think to set the theme, so I'll try and do it in a short but sweet manner. So and give you the clear enough idea to go with. Okay, so first and foremost, we have to understand what is a karaka. Okay, without that, you can't understand what is Darakaraka, etc. Okay, another interesting thing, they start with Darakaraka. I mean, the way we were taught. First, we start with Atma Karaka, Amatya Karaka, and all that. These are the ones which we talk about. Honestly speaking, for your life and really in the context of these kind of karakas, which we call Darakarkas, it is Atma and Amatya who are very, very important. Okay, it's not that Dara is not, but in the scheme of things, what is more important. But first, let's understand what is Karaka. So in English, English books generally Karaka is translated as significator. Significator meaning showing something, being the representation or symbol for something. Let's say Venus is significator for relationships, or Venus is the karaka for relationships and marriage. So it is signifying. So Venus is signifying marriage in a chart. But having said that, this word, English word significator, is not entirely capturing the meaning of karaka. Just like many, in many other instances, the Sanskrit words, they can't be easily explained with their English equivalents. Karaka is coming from kara. Kara means hand. Okay, kara also means to do, because we generally do action with our hand. So it is about action. It is about the hand. But whose hand are we talking about? We are talking about the hand of God. What do we mean by hand of God? So why are we suddenly talking of God over here? So the thing is, in your chart, there's one aspect is what you want, and the other aspect is what is given. And what is given is from God. What is God giving to you? So let's say relationships again. Your seventh lord is, say, what you want, or how you look at relationships, etc. Your seventh house, seventh lord. Okay, your attitude towards it. Um, you know, whom you like to have. It is about the bhava. It is your wanting something, etc. While the karaka is indicating what you will get. Okay, so Venus is indicating what you will get. So we have Venus, which is a karaka for relationships. We have Mercury, which is karaka for, let's say, work. Okay, it is also karaka for learning, right? Then you have Sun, which is karaka for father. It is also karaka for health. Moon, which is karaka for mother. It is also karaka for mind. You can also say for fame. Mars is for brother. Mars is also for strength. So obviously, see, there are so many aspects in this world, and after all, we have 9 planets. Obviously, the planets have multiple roles. Okay, so they will signify different things, but it is in the context of different houses also. One has to keep that in mind. So you have all these karakas. So then, what is the difference between this and, say, Darakaraka, Karaka, and all that? Okay, so here we come into what are the various types of karaka that are there. So we have these karakas that I talked about: Venus, Mars, Venus for relationships, Mars for strength, and Mars for brothers, Venus for wife, etc. This is what is known as Naisargika karaka. Be it my chart, be it your chart, be it anyone's chart, Venus will be seen for relationships and wife. If you want to examine relationships, you will look at Venus for everyone, right? That doesn't change from chart to chart because it is natural and hence it is the same. Okay, Naisargika literally means natural. Okay, from evolution, from nature. Okay, it is how things are by their very nature. That is what is meant by that. So this is the same for everyone. But then we also have differences between us, right? You and me are not the same. And yes, we have our 7th house and all that, which is showing what we want. But from the perspective of karaka, there are a set of karakas which are not the same for everyone. They change. Okay? And they are called chara karaka. The word itself, chara, means moving. So it is moving. It is not the same for everyone. Naisargika is the same for everyone. Okay? Well, Darakaraka is moving, it is different for different people. Okay. There is another type of karaka also which we will not get into. But basically, these 3 karakas, the other one which I did not talk about much, these are basically linking to body, mind, and soul. And amongst this, the Naisargika karaka is related to the mind aspect, mental aspect. Okay. While the Charakarakas are linking to the soul. Okay, all of these are karmas that we have to experience, but soul is at a level above than body and mind. Okay, these map to what in our scriptures we have what we know as the 3 types of shariras or 3 types of bodies, which is explained a great deal in our scriptures, in Bhagavad Gita as well. You have Stula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and Karana Sharira. Stula is the gross body, that is all that is made up of the five elements, this whatever you can see. Sukshma is subtle, okay, subtle body. So you can't really touch it, but it is there. Okay, what is that? It is our mind, it is our intelligence, our intellect. Okay, it is our ego sense. I am Kartik, so that identity that I bring in. All of this are not hard material things, but these are things you can definitely perceive. You can see, you can see a personality known as Kartik. You can see a personality known as someone else, say Narendra Modi or Donald Trump, etc. These are personalities. You can see, okay, this is how they think and all that. Not their body, but how they are. The personality, their thinking, their intellect, etc. That is the Sukshma Sharira. But there is something much deeper which is known as Karana Sharira, and that links to the soul. Here, when we talk of soul, we are not really talking of Atma, because when we talk of Atma in our Advaitic sense, it is beyond all of this. It is not even the Karana Sharira. Okay, so don't confuse that with Atma, but a very deep aspect of ours, the deepest aspect of us, that is what we are talking of Karana Sharira or soul. Because Karana, the word Karana means it is the cause. It is called the causal body. It is the cause of everything. So it acts, it is much more powerful. It acts like, it is the one, you may say, which the mind and body would have to listen to or obey, or hell will break loose. You may say as much as that. Okay. So this Darakaraka is linking to that very deep level. Okay. And there are 8 Darakarakas. A lot of people say there are 7. The thing is, we use 7 in certain contexts, we use 8 in certain contexts. For all living beings, we use 8 Darakarakas. Okay. And there is a reference in Bhagavad Gita. Please check chapter 7, shloka 4. Okay. That does talk about 8. Okay. So you can check it out. I will not explain that over here. But that will also give you a deeper understanding of what exactly is Darakaraka. So interesting, isn't it? A lot of Bhagavad Gita, a lot of jyotish in Bhagavad Gita. In our tradition, we actually study Bhagavad Gita definitely from the spiritual perspective, but also to understand jyotish. Okay. So there are 3 levels: body, mind, and soul, right? And Darakarakas are acting at that level. Okay. Now, in this context, it is important to help you understand that why it cannot be simply things like looks of a person, the personality of your spouse, etc. Why it cannot be? Because the Darakaraka, they are not working on the mental plane. All these things about looks and look and feel of things, this entire visible world that we have, and the thinking that we have, the mind and everything, the entire mental aspect is coming in under the part of mind, which is what I said is Naisvik Karaka. The soul is not really bothered about all of this, but what it is interested is that you have to experience certain karmas in this life. And here it is important to understand the karma theory that we have. Okay, various types of karma we have: sanchita, prarabdha, kriyamana, etc. So there is a very nice lecture, very I would say comprehensive lecture, which has been given by my Gurudev Pandit Sanjay Raji. It is available freely on his YouTube channel. I think Deva Guru Brahaspati channel. I will give a link of that in the description below. Please check it out. Please go through that, because that shows the various types of karma that we have to experience. So what is really karma? While the body I have, the mind I have is also due to my karma. But this is a much deeper level of karma, I would say, in the sense that this is something you have to experience. Okay. So we would have, how it is evident in our lives is, we would suddenly see, say example, someone is not interested in getting married. Let's say a lady, okay, she's highly educated, she's at a top level, she's working and all that, and all of a sudden one day at the age of 34, something changes. She sees someone or whatever. It is like a spark which has come, and it is like now you have to do it. You have to marry this guy, and she ends up marrying that person, right? Um, Other thing I'll explain to you is, uh, I was just this would be a nice example. I was, again browsing through YouTube videos. So there was one video by some Pakistani journalist, I believe, who was talking about uh, the relationship between Benazir Bhutto, the prime minister who was assassinated of Pakistani politician, and her husband Asif Ali Zardari, who also later became the president of Pakistan, and whose son Bilal Bhutto is, I think, in the cabinet also of the current regime. Um, so there are a few things I'll say over here. So Zardari, Asif Ali Zardari, first saw Benazir Bhutto when they were very young. I think both of them were in their teens. He was from a rich family in Karachi, and they owned a cinema theater over there. And one day he saw Benazir Bhutto in the cinema hall. She was just 15 years old, and he immediately liked her. That's like immediate spark. He's like, I like her. And then over the years, there's a long story of how he tried to uh, get you know get married to her. In the sense, they would send proposals and all, but a lot of things happened in between. Benazir's father, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, was arrested and then hanged to death, who was the prime minister of Pakistan, by the way. And then the Bhutto family had to go on exile, they were staying abroad and all that. But then he again renewed. Eventually, after lots of twists and turns, the first time they were supposed to meet, so it was agreed that he will come and meet her. Okay? And Benazir Bhutto tells her friend, and it is mentioned in a book which this journalist was quoting, that Benazir said that I was sitting in my room, and I could hear his steps across the hallway. Okay, and they were very firm footsteps, and I could feel my heartbeat rising, like we say in Hindi, dil ki dhadkan. Right? She was feeling that thing. She was feeling something inside. Okay, and then they met, and then obviously when you meet a person, she's not even met this guy. Okay, she's obviously heard about him, must have seen his pictures or whatever, but they've never personally met. But so when you personally meet and you start interacting, then the mind works. Oh, he's this sort. He likes this. He doesn't like this. His thinking is like this. His opinions are like this. His education, his behavior, everything you judge them. But even before that, there is some signal her Atma was sending, her soul was sending from deep down. That is what I was trying to tell you. Okay, something similar has happened with a very, very close person whom I know, and I have no compunction saying it is my wife, and it happened to her with me. She says that she had this thing about some feeling, some strange feeling about it. Okay, and I'm sure some of you may have experiences like this. It need not be specifically with your spouse. As I said, as I showed in the previous video, it is not necessary that your spouse is coming due to Darakaraka. It is not necessary. Okay. Some people may have 2, 3, 4 spouses or partners, because when we say spouse, we don't mean just the formal marriage. Like some people are committed to someone for years and they may not formally marry also, but that is considered as a marriage. So that may or may not have a link to the Darakaraka. Okay, so this may not happen with every relationship, but it may happen for somebody if the Darakaraka is giving that, because that will come as a very deep, you may say, subconscious, but it's actually super conscious level signal coming to you. Okay, so the soul enforces, and what it governs is a time. suddenly at a particular time it will come up and say this ought to be done. That's it. No, mind can't do anything, body can't do anything, has to be done. Okay, it is not going to say this the person has to look like this or whatever. It can have, for example, let's say in Trump's case, Saturn is with Venus in Cancer. So so the Darakaraka is Saturn. So it may be saying, okay, I grant this responsibility to this particular set of planet or this yoga or this Rashi or this timing or whatever. Okay, but it may not itself decide. So hence to say that the Darakaraka is showing the personality of spouse is hence it is wrong. But yes, obviously it has a bearing on what kind of spouse you have. But you can't just read, okay, Sun Darakaraka means my spouse will be a politician or a head of state or something like that, or someone in a powerful position, etc. No, you cannot say like that. And certainly you can't say it in a general fashion. You have to see the chart, how is Sun in that particular chart. Okay. And as I also said, the Darakaraka, what is it, the karmic relationship. People talk of we have a karmic relationship, which is basically this Darakaraka kind of thing. It need not be a good experience, depends on your karma, right? It can be a phenomenally great experience, it can be a miserable experience, it depends on the karma that you have. Okay, for that you have to understand what karma is. Okay, so please do see that video of my Gurudev Pandit Sanjay Rath. Okay. So in this context, we come to Darakaraka. Now we talk about that, how we calculate and all those things. You have the lowest planet in a sign is Darakaraka. Did anyone tell what does it mean that it is the lowest planet? What does it mean that Atmakaraka is the highest planet? In the sense, the planet with the maximum longitude. So you forget the signs where they are. You see whichever sign, whichever planet is, which is the planet with the highest degree. Say some planet is at 28 degrees and there is no other planet above 28 degrees in the chart. Okay. There is some specifics of the calculation for Rahu, okay, but without confusing on that matter. So if there is nothing above that, say 28, then that particular planet, let's say it is Moon, then Moon becomes the Atmakaraka. Okay. So that is the highest. At the other spectrum is the one which is lowest. There is no planet lower than that. Okay. So let's say typically these planets will be not necessary, but typically say the earliest degrees, say 1 degree, 2 degree, 5 degree. Some may even have it up to 10 degree. In the sense there is no planet below 10 degrees in their chart. Okay. Whatever it may be, the one which is at the lowest as far as degree is concerned is the Darakaraka. So what does it mean that something is the highest, something is the lowest? What are we really talking about over here? And I've given this basic framework over here of soul. So we are talking of soul. What is now this is something I'm sure Hindus would understand. Or those who belong to what you call the Indic religions, because Buddhism or Jainism also share, or even Sikhism share the same beliefs in this regard, is that we have come in this world, but the real goal of this soul is to attain mukti or liberation. Liberation from what? Liberation from repeated cycle of birth and death. We have karma, which is like a bank balance, and we have to, till the time that bank balance is fully exhausted, we have to keep on coming back and experience that, whatever is there in that balance. Okay. So some portion of that balance we take for our particular life, which we call as prarabdha. That is for this life, this much karma, or this karma I am going to experience. Okay. So now, but the idea is that we have to get out of this, and for that, obviously, the entire spiritual philosophy, the goals and the ideals, all the yogas that we have, Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, all this Karma Yoga, all these are about how to do that. Okay. But these planets are reflecting this aspect. Okay, so the Atma Karaka, so these are different aspects of our that deep soul, psyche, whatever. Okay, that Karana Sharira. It is coming from our karma, and it is showing these various aspects of our life. Okay, of our experiences, karmic experiences. And in that, there is one planet which is the most experienced, most evolved meaning it is ready to go to the next level, meaning it is ready to give you mukti. Okay. On the other spectrum, you have planets which are that is at the lowest level, which is Darakaraka, is the planet which is the least evolved. So let's say in my chart, I have Venus as Atma Karaka, which means Venus is one aspect of my that soul or psyche, which has evolved the most. Okay, and hence it has become Atma Karaka. This is something my soul feels it knows how to manage this aspect of life. Okay, and hence this should not stop it from getting mukti. Okay, this is not holding it to the ground, it is helping it to achieve mukti. Hence, obviously, what happens? This is the area where I will get tested the most. Okay, someone has Sun as Atma Karaka, so they will get tested most in the matters of ego and identity. Okay, they may get humiliated again and again, and they have to go through those experiences, and yet be keep their be humble and all that. Okay, whatever your Atma Karaka is, you will get tested in that area a lot. Okay, and you will have some weaknesses also in that area. It's funny, but it is because that is what you feel that I know the most. My soul has knowledge the most of. On the other spectrum, you have Darakaraka, where you say that I don't have much knowledge about this. You may say like that. But rather what it is it is what is holding you onto this planet. Right? It is not allowing you to leave. Which means your desires. See, the biggest desire is to have wealth, to have relationships and all that. And Darakaraka literally governs that. You think Darakaraka is only about relationships? No, it's also about wealth. Okay, you have to see Dhana Yoga, you have to see Darakaraka. No one has probably told on this point to you, but that is the thing. Okay, so these are the things which are holding, these are rajas, and they are holding us to this planet. There are other aspects on chakras and all that, we will not get into it, that would be more confusing. But this is what is holding us to this earth and making us experience this samsara. Okay, so really speaking, I mean, it is not something to rejoice about. Yeah, again, nothing to be sad about, it is how it is. But, the people going gaga, my Darakaraka is this, once I'll have this experience. I mean, you are basically getting enmeshed in this samsara. Okay, and this is probably what you are most immature about in your life. Also, you may say like that. Okay, so the key point is Darakaraka is not really showing that, and then I'll show examples because otherwise it will not be evident. But it was important to set this theoretical aspect to you so that you understand in the scheme of things where exactly is Darakaraka placed. Okay, it is a Darakaraka. It is about soul level thing. Okay, and it is a karaka, so obviously it is signifying something important in your life. And similarly, you have other karakas. You have Jnati Karaka for community, you have Putra Karaka for children, but also for followers. So let's say, this should interest celebrities quite a lot. For example, let's say you have a YouTube channel. Will you have a big following or not? Okay, followers is the people who subscribe onto your channel and then watch your channel regularly, share it, etc. They are your followers, okay, who become your Patreon members or whatever, right? And who are participating in your live shows and chats, etc. So they are your followers, okay. That is Putra Karaka. That is coming from Putra Karaka. That experience is coming from Putra Karaka. Basically, these are all various experiences the soul has to have, okay, and hence what it really governs is the way, and this is the thing I will leave you with, it is governing when something will happen, like it will override all other things and say this has got to happen. And secondly, it will delegate it to whomsoever it decides, maybe planets associated with it, sign, arudhas, all these things, yogas, etc. It is associating. It will delegate to them to decide, but it may not define the experience per se. But yes, some aspect of it will define because of its association. But you cannot say for sure that Jupiter Darakaraka means you will marry a professor. Okay, you may want to, but that does not be guaranteed by Jupiter Darakaraka. So I hope this was interesting and valuable information for you. And please, if you have any comments on it or any questions, please do let me know. I'll be happy to reply to you. And I will come back with more cases to explain this thing further. Okay. Thank you so much. Namaste.